A podcast? Did your radio show get canceled?
Fire. Low down and filthy, but the discipline is on point. Schooled myself, made my own dojo. A cold flow with the whole dose of soul. Maintain composure, even in theory. An anomaly, properties undiscernible to mere peasants. Use weapons that level.
Every single week on this program, I talk to you about behavior. I also do that in the pages of USA Today, which is read by over 3 million people a week. I say that your habits and your behaviors have consequences if you do not manage them, which means I'm also accountable to those same words. I have not been accountable to those same words, which is why I can no longer see my belt. You see, I weigh too much. I'm not healthy. I eat too much fried food. Now, don't get me wrong. On the technical American scale, am I obese? I don't know, arguably. It's one of those things where it's like, I don't probably look obese, but if my doctor made me take off my shirt, people would probably lose their appetite. But not me. I'd keep eating. So I'm telling you right now, since this is an entire community of people that talk about behavior, that I'm improving my behavior, and I'm doing it by improving my health and my habits, and I will keep you updated over time of how that goes. I fully intend on losing a tremendous amount of weight, and I'm going to use you to hold me accountable. Today on the podcast, we talked to Steve. Steve's got a lot of goals, trying to do a lot of different stuff. He's got someone who's about to be his fiance. We call her a girlfriend. I don't know how much Steve weighs. He's a public defender, and I asked him about getting frisked. No one wants to frisk me right now because they may not see their hands back because there's a roll or two. So graphic. Hope you're not eating right now. Hope I'm not eating right now. Here's Steve.
Stop what you're doing. And hit Pete up on Twitter at Pete the Planner.
Sound good to me.
I never question the right of any man to voice his opinion as strongly as any can. But then again, many men are citizens of their own little world, so they ain't really fitting in. I'm in the background blending in, camouflaged by the scenery, but I'm a champion. Revamp the camp.
We welcome Steve to the $1 Million Plan. Hello, Steve.
Hey, how are you?
I'm excellent. How are you?
Pretty good.
Pretty good. Well, let's change that to great. That doesn't sound like a title of a book you don't want to read. All right, Steve, yep. Let's dig into your financial life. What's going on, and what are you hoping to solve today?
Well, back in March or so, I kind of wanted to get debt out of my life. So,
okay.
I paid off my car, got an engagement ring paid for, had to get a new computer. And then after that, I've been building up kind of an emergency fund. So just this month, I've kind of felt like I've started to see progress investing-wise.
And how old are you, Steve?
I am 28.
28, and what sort of annual income do you have?
I would say about 55.
So $55,000 in the last 6 months or so, you've been able to pay off some debt, buy an engagement ring, save some money, and see some progress in terms of investments.
Yes.
So that's pretty darn good because $55,000, that means you've created quite a bit of margin on a monthly basis to be able to do that. How much a month are you putting towards your financial priorities?
Well, I will say I had some cash built up before I started, so that helped.
Sort of an important detail. Detail. How much did you have built up?
I probably had around $10,000, and then I also cashed out a life insurance plan when I switched, and so that helped get everything going and get me back where I wanted to be.
Okay, so how much do you have in savings right now?
As we sit today, I have about $7,800 in investments, retirement accounts.
All right.
And about $5,000 in an emergency fund.
Do you have major monthly expenses right now, or do you live pretty lean?
I would say outside of rent, no, I'm pretty lean. I'm able to put $600 a month in my Roth, and I still have about $400 a month I just label as miscellaneous. So
wow, you are living pretty lean.
Good, I think.
Does that mean you're just working a lot? Like, what do you do for a living?
I'm an attorney. I'm a public defender, actually.
Can I, like, during this podcast say all sorts of things like you can't handle the truth and all things that are annoying? Am I able to do that?
Yep, I hear it all the time.
So I'm unoriginal? Is that what you're saying, Steve?
Yep.
You're leading the host. All right, so you're getting married, though. You mentioned an engagement ring. Did you propose?
It's not official yet, but she picked out the ring, so I'm hoping she'll say yes.
Okay, so you bought the ring, and she picked it, but you haven't asked her.
Yeah, there's some weird stuff.
That sounds a little weird, I'm going to be honest.
Well, it's not weird. She's in school right now, so we're waiting to finish that before.
Hopefully college?
No, a master's program.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, that's what I mean. Like, post-high school is the direction I was going there, counselor.
Oh, right.
Yes. All right, so she... all right, so once she has her direction of what you're doing, that'll set the wedding date and all that stuff, too?
Yeah, I think it'll probably be in 2018.
Okay. So do you view... Okay, so this is interesting. Do you view, then, the next... Until 2018, the next time frame in your life financially we need to get your head around? Is that sort of what we're doing?
Correct. I'm kind of in a weird place where I'm not married yet, obviously, but I'm starting to think about that life. Because it's easy for me now when I'm by myself, just saving and buying cool stuff. But
what kind of cool stuff? I don't know.
I mean, if something comes up that I would want, I can buy it, and I don't really need to run it by anyone or think. You know what I mean?
Kind of. I mean, let's talk about this for a second, because this is interesting. Do you mean in relation to the fact that these are kind of your last, let's call it 18 months for lack of a better day, 18 months of not being held accountable by anyone? Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, although she's trying, she does a good job now.
So you're trying to sow your wild financial oats for these last 18 months, if you wanted to.
Right. I'm trying to, well, maybe I'm not actually. I'm starting to put money away for the wedding now, actually.
Who's paying for the wedding? Are you two paying for the wedding or someone else?
We haven't had that discussion yet.
Because you're not engaged.
Saving. Right. I'm just saving with the idea if I have to pay for it, I can, and if not, then I'll have some extra money.
Okay. Is it fair to say a big part of this conversation is choosing what your number one priority is, or do you have an idea what your number one financial priority is?
I would say choosing, because I have a lot of options. I can build up a big emergency fund and have cash. I could fully fund Roth and all that. I could have that cash fund looking more towards the house down payment. I'm not really sure.
Well, let's start at the very end, which is your death. No, let's start at retirement and work backwards. How much do you have in your Roth and in your 401k right now?
Right now, in my Roth, I have about $2,500, and I'll be able to hit, at least with the monthly plan I'm on now, I'll be able to hit 55 for 2016.
Okay.
And then in my other traditional accounts, I have about $5,900.
And you're putting about $600 a month away towards the Roth?
$600 in the Roth, and about probably somewhere around $90 in the others.
Okay. So any other investments, any other long-term investments between those two accounts?
Nope, that's it.
All right, so we've got your $1 million day, because I know you care, as June 17th, 2045. June 17th, 2045. 45. How does that hit you? How old will you be then? You're 28-ish or something now, right?
I would be 57.
57. So let's react to that. Does that seem good, bad, otherwise? How's it hit you?
I guess I was thinking only $600 a month would be. I was expecting a later date.
No, I mean, it's still 29 years down the road. Tell me about your plans from an employment standpoint. You're currently defending the public right now. So let's say I get pulled over, like really soon, like really soon. And the officer says, you have the right to a public defender, or whatever they say on TV. You're showing up, right?
Yep. I just drive around looking for stops.
You just drive, you're like, hello, hi.
Yep.
Then so you're my guy. And so is that a thing you do for a while, or like I don't understand any of this, Steve. Like, what happens? Are there career public defenders? Is that your goal? Like, what are we doing?
There are career public defenders, and I wouldn't feel disappointed if that's the route I went. The reason I have been working for the government is I do have student loans.
Oh.
But I'm working on the public service loan forgiveness plan. And so I said earlier I'd been paying off debt, and so it really is sort of bugging me that those are still out there. But
is this one of those things where I say, why didn't you tell me that? And then you say, why didn't you ask? Right? Isn't that what would happen if I said, why didn't you tell me that?
Yeah, I should have told you, though. I had it right on my Post-it note here.
How much do you owe in student loans?
It's about $84,000.
American?
Yes.
Okay. And if you do that, how many years of service? 10 years of service?
Yes, and I have about 8 left.
Oh. Can you legitimately do? I mean, I like your plan. I mean, I love when people say, this is the reason I'm doing this. But if you step back, can you legitimately do 8 more years of defending me upon my arrests?
I think I can, and honestly, it's a broad program, so even if I get tired of this, I could work for a different government agency and still keep trucking along towards 10 years.
Is $55,000, where does that fall in the world of public defense? Like, will that just creep up over time, or are you kind of there?
I would say I'm kind of there. Any raise is cost of living, if anything. So.
And then your lady friend, is she? What's her field of study? Like, what's she going to be?
She's studying to work.
The prosecutor's office?
No, that'd be funny.
It would be funny. It should be a TV show.
I'm sure it's been tried and canceled, sadly.
Yeah.
She's going for a master's in public policy, so she could have a number of... Honestly, it's a wide range of things she can do, and income levels we really don't know until she gets that first job offer.
All right, so here's where I'm going with this. Like, I always want to know, like if you've got 8 years left to pay off a major debt with the student loan forgiveness plan, which is a great strategy. What I want to know is what's the overarching thing, for lack of a better word, are we trying to achieve in the next 8 years? Are we trying to achieve stability? Are we trying to achieve flexibility? Are we trying to achieve wealth accumulation? Flexibility to me would say, well, maybe we could start a family, or maybe we could adopt, whatever. I don't know. Like, of those things, stability, flexibility, wealth accumulation, what do you see the next 8 years bringing, or what do you want it to bring?
I guess in my head with the 10-year plan, at least back when I started, I was thinking, okay, when I'm done, I'll only be 36 years old. I'll probably have close to $100,000 forgiven at that point.
Ooh.
Because of the interest. And so if I can contribute to all these other accounts and have that forgiven for a low monthly payment, I feel like after that time, 36 or however old I end up being when the check comes, then I could really ramp it up and start making some progress.
Well, your future fiance, is there a word for pre-fiance? Actually, it is. It's called girlfriend. Does your girlfriend have any student loan debt?
No, she does not.
Okay. So you don't.
And she won't after this degree either.
Oh, that's nice. Okay, so the only debts are really the 80-some thousand student loans.
Mm-hmm.
Are you renting right now?
Yes, I actually just sold a house in March, so I'm renting.
Tell me a little bit about that. I'm anxious to understand why you sold a house, because that always interests me, you know?
This job I took, I had to live in the county I'm working, and my house was in a neighboring county. And I didn't want to buy a new house until my pre-fiance became my wife.
So do you and your pre-fiance / girlfriend / lady friend / lover, do you guys share expenses right now?
No, we don't. We don't live together.
Okay. All right. Yeah, so this is interesting, right? Because I like your situation. It makes no sense whatsoever to pay extra on your student loans, right? Because you're just wasting the benefit of the student loan forgiveness plan. Mm-hmm. To have a giant emergency fund where other things aren't getting funded doesn't make a tremendous amount of sense. To have the right amount does make sense. I'm leaning towards building wealth / saving for the wedding until you are confident you don't have to pay for the wedding, if that is in fact the case. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sounds good to me.
How about when you sold your house, did you make any money on it?
I was lucky to, because I'd only owned it for a year.
Ooh.
So I got like $1,000.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, you dodged a bullet there.
Yep.
Interesting. So you'll get married when you're 30-ish, probably, right? 29, 30? 30?
Correct.
Yeah, I'm going to go with... and a Roth IRA is a great vehicle for you, by the way, because it's pretty darn flexible. And from a long-term investment standpoint, from a tax perspective, it's the best way to go. So I would make that a priority to consistently max that out. And then until you know otherwise that you're not going to have to pay for the wedding, save for the wedding like you have. You said you got $1,000 or so set aside for the wedding?
Yeah, right now, and it's building each month. Because any money I have left over from my monthly budget just goes to that.
Have you stopped saving money into your emergency fund?
I'm just combining the two, I guess. I just have one money market account.
Okay.
And so I know what my 3-month number is, and I just add on to that.
When did you say when she's going to start working with her new degree in public policy?
It would probably be 2018 as well.
Okay. So all the resources coming into your house, you know exactly what they are. So here's the other complexity of this, Steve. The next year and a half are going to be heinously boring financially for you. Right?
I know. That's part. Yeah.
Are you worried about that? Like that you're not going to get antsy?
I'm a little bit worried about it because, paying off all these debts I had, I guess, a weird pleasure of signing on and making the payment or whatever. I guess I'll just have to hold my horses a little bit.
Is that what they say in the biz? Have you ever walked into someone's cell and be like, today we're going to talk about holding the horses? No, I'm guessing you haven't.
No, I actually don't know why I said that, but...
do you go into the cell and talk to people? Like, I watch a lot of television. And do you go into a cell or like a holding? Like, what happens?
They do have cells at the courthouse. But then if you're visiting at the jail, you get a nice little area to meet with at a table.
Do you get frisked?
No, but you basically have to take all your clothes off.
Oh. If like, I never had any interest in practicing law, but if I heard that you get frisked on a daily basis, that could Influence me. Help me understand. Earlier, you said that you want to be able to spend money on whatever you want to some degree. It's not exactly how you said it. I'm curious, when you say that, there's an item or a purchase or an experience in mind that you have. I'm curious as to what that item or experience is and what the dollar amount is, because I'm fixated on that idea. I just want to know what we're talking about.
Well, I guess what I was thinking, so for instance, I just got the new iPhone.
Yeah. Oh,
and I
it's waterproof.
Yeah. I justified it by saying, I paid off all this other stuff, so now I have the money to buy those kind of things.
How'd that
and
feel?
I do. It fits into my budget. So good.
I mean, there's a legal argument there to be made that you're correct. But I would say if the overarching goal is flexibility or stability or wealth accumulation, that consuming things and creating lifestyle creep probably isn't the way to go.
Right. And I think I have a good balance. Maybe I don't.
I think you do. It sounds like you do.
Yeah, there's some other stuff that I have cut back on. So,
how much did that iPhone cost? I don't even know. Like, what does it cost to buy the new iPhone? A few $100?
Well, it's strange now. You have to pay monthly.
Oh.
So it's like $39 a month for 24 months.
Okay.
On top of whatever the cell phone bill already is.
When you text with the people you're defending, do you ever send them emojis? Just because it seemed really unprofessional if you were like, I'm going to get you out of, and then like emoji jail. Like that would be weird.
I might do it, but I try not to give my personal number to clients.
Oh. Do you have a public defender cell phone? Is it like a Motorola Razr?
No, I wish we did sometimes. We just have a desk phone.
Well, it's not a Samsung because they don't want you to catch the jail on fire when you're in there.
Right.
What's another example of something that are you talking about? Like, hey, I want to go to a guy's trip to Vegas, or I'd like to buy a motorcycle. Like, what other thing? I'm a little nervous about this whole I want flexibility thing. I know it is your last call for freedom. Trust me. I've been married 16 years. I know exactly what you're saying. I just want to make sure it's not too expensive.
Well, I don't know. Just this morning, I'm thinking about buying a new mattress. Going wild.
Is it going to be one that a mattress? You're an old man now,
like
dude.
that.
Yeah. How awful is that? You basically just said that you're 49 years old. That sucks. That sucks that you're thinking about buying a mattress. Now, I get it. I'm right there with you, but I'm an old man. You're not going to get like a sleeve of tattoos for several $100s, right?
No.
Okay.
No tattoos yet.
Not yet. Keep your options open. All right, so here's what I would say. I would say if I got to prioritize your financial life, if you let me do that, I would say your number one goal is making sure you max out the Roth IRA every year. And then the secondary goal is to get money in the wedding fund until you potentially learn that you don't have to do that. And then I would almost create a scenario in which that wedding fund turns into more down payment money for your next home purchase. That would be the way I would lean.
I do have a question about that.
Okay, go ahead.
My girlfriend has a stock account that her dad, since she was young, has built up.
Okay.
It's worth about $60,000.
Okay.
And I was just wondering what you would think. Do you think it would be good to use that towards a down payment, or would you suggest just keeping that as is?
I want you to know how much I love this question. I would text you an emoji of someone clapping if I had your number. So there's a lot to consider here. Number one, there could be some tax implications of getting rid, of course, of some of those investments and use them for down payment on a home. Number two, a down payment is essentially instant equity within the home. And anytime you have equity in a home, the equity itself grows at 0%. That means it doesn't grow. I mean, it's at 0%. The home can go up in value, but it has nothing to do with the amount of equity you have. So let's say that, don't tell me what she's invested in, but is it in something that grows and goes up and down over time, or is it pretty static? Oh, hell, I don't
It's in
care.
a-
Tell me what she's invested in. What's that really matter? Do you know?
It's about 15 different individual stocks, which scares me a little, but it is what it is.
So are they pretty mainstream blue chip stocks, or are they things you've heard of?
Yes.
Okay. So think about this for a second. Like, if you put it into the value of the home, like if you turn it into equity, and let's say you use $30,000 of the 60, that $30,000 will never move past $30,000 ever, until it's taken back out of the home and invested via the sale of the home or something like that. As long as it remains truly invested, where it has a chance to grow, that same 30, if you left it alone, that 30 could double in 10 years, where it would not double in 10 years if you put it into the home. So it's strange. From a financial perspective, it doesn't make sense to take money out of the market to do it, but it does accomplish the goal of home ownership, which is a completely different goal. So does that make sense?
Right. I'm just, that's just, her and I talk about that a lot. We don't really know what to do with it.
I would rather, realistically, when do you think you'd want to get back into a house?
If we know where, well, we're going to know where she's living. Anyways,
With you?
presumably right in 2018, right after that. Or 2019. We've talked about just apartment living for a year to kind of get settled before getting a house. But 2018, 2019.
I'm a proponent of that. Like, I like the idea that you can organically save for the down payment, and that especially comes into focus if you end up not having to pay for the wedding. I think long term, that's the best move. Now, of course, you can take the money that her dad set aside for her and you can use it for down payment. I see people do that stuff all the time. And my job is not to candy coat stuff. I think that is a bad financial decision in the long run. It's a good lifestyle decision, arguably, but it's not a great financial decision. I would rather you, because think about it, your house payment is probably going to be higher than what your rent payment is. So I'd rather see you simulate that idea by paying your rent now, and then whatever the difference is between what your house payment's going to be and rent, save that now to build up the down payment, and you kill two birds with one stone.
And you suggested 20%.
I don't know. I mean, I say at least 10%, right? I mean, 20% obviously kills PMI. There's other ways to kill private mortgage insurance. 10% to me means you can demonstrate the ability to save money consistently. What I don't like about no money down programs, and we're not even talking about no money down programs, but what I don't like about them is a lot of people who have no money to put down get into them, or 3% down, and those people have no ability to save money, and so then they can't afford to fix the house they live in, which I don't think is going to be a problem for you, but I think a good 10% down payment would be a reasonable goal. What was the value of the home you just sold, Steve?
I bought it for 104 and sold for 116.
Okay, so you pay the realtor fees, got your $1,000. What kind of home value would you think in a couple years? 150 or less?
Gosh. Yeah, it's not going to, I'm not going to be looking for a big house first.
You're a smart man. I think trying to save $15,000 over the next 2 to 3 years is an amazing goal for a down payment, and I think it would pay off big time. I think that's what you do once you max out your Roth with the money that doesn't go towards the wedding, and hopefully you don't have to pay for the wedding.
Okay. And so, one more question about this
Please.
mysterious stock account.
Why is it so mysterious?
I don't know. It's just kind of like sitting there in our lives, and we don't know.
It's taunting you.
I guess if something like that, if you don't use it for a big purchase like that, how does it end up getting used?
No, that's a great question.
To our benefit.
No, that's a fantastic question. The way I look at it is, you can use your income over the next 2.5 years to accomplish the same thing. as that the stock money could do. So if you can accomplish your goal a different way that doesn't cost you the ability to grow your wealth, then accomplish it the alternative way. I mean, you could very easily not be goal focused over the next 2.5 years and choose to use money from that account, but you've wasted the opportunity to have it as a growth oriented investment. Does that make sense? I just think you can accomplish it a lot more efficiently with your income than that asset itself. And that asset can continue to grow for your future, whether that be early retirement, whether that be send your kids to college, whether to be your second home. I just think you've got enough margin in your life now to fund it a different way. So why play the ace of spades by selling the stock?
I understand. Yep.
I don't know. I mean, here's what you shouldn't do. You shouldn't sell it, put it in cash, and then tape it to your body when you go into jail. And then, because when you take off your clothes, they're going to find it, if you know what I mean.
Yep.
That was creepy. So creepy.
Currency in jail is cigarettes, though.
Oh, yeah. You ever, what are they called? Squares? Or do they called cigarettes? Like, what do people call cigarettes? Smokes?
I don't really know. I haven't been asked to bring any in.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how cool are you? Like 10 is like you don't have to ever go to Urban Dictionary to understand what things are, and 1 is it's bookmarked. Like, where are you on that scale of like how things work?
I'd probably be a 5.
Right in the middle. Man,
Yeah.
That's so Public Defender, which I don't even know. I watch TV. So, all right, Steve, anything else?
Nope, just thanks for the help.
Best of luck to you. And if I ever need you, I hope I get arrested in the county in which you work.
All right.
All right. Oh, by the way, I would probably hire my own attorney. But thank you very much. And I hope you have a great day.
All right, you too.
All right.
If you want to be on this podcast and have Pete fix your money life, then hit us up at PeteThePlanner.com/podcast. You heard me. PeteThePlanner.com/podcast. Log on.
This is for information purposes only. It's not the Swiss financial planning device. Consult a financial advisor.
Released from Everest, the fresh is fresh, and you can call me E.T. Word to John Tesh. Let me bless this harmonic presentation. It's amazing, so amazing. I'm the reason. Salutations, I bring you love, trying greetings from a faraway land. I am the sole controller. Put the remote down and let me take control. You're now a part of my zone, so enjoy yourself. Love Tron can restore your health. I bring you greetings, salutations. How you doing? And is that how y'all say it? The tinkling of the keys is an homage to the little star. I sojourn over poetic descriptions of sound and travel to my other world. Out of this world, spaceship on my arm took me home, fueled by the ink and the megabytes and the hypertext transfer protocol, stronger than the Skynet and the Terminator. I push faders into warp speed, glide with ease, creating a breeze they call a black hole. Event horizon, no rear view concerns. This I adjourn, and beats I burn. This I adjourn, and beats I burn. Salutations, I bring you love, trying greetings from a faraway land. I am the sole controller. Put the remote down and let me take control. You're now a part of my zone, so enjoy yourself. Love Tron can restore your health. I bring you greetings, salutations. How you doing? And is that how y'all say it?